Hello, everybody. In this episode of Achieving Optimal, I want to focus on clarity. Clarity is essential. It's a vital element in success. And I like to joke sometimes with my audiences that the lack of clarity is the root of all evil. Well, maybe it's not the root of all evil, but I do believe the lack of clarity is the root of underperformance in almost any area of life. Certainly in your economic life, business life, in marriage, in parenting, in your health and fitness, really in any area of life where results are important to you, if you're not clear on what you're trying to accomplish, it leads to all sorts of problems, all sorts of confusion, and it ultimately leads to underperformance. Now, in a business setting, if you're not clear on what you're trying to accomplish, then you may put together the wrong team or an inept team. You may not hit your financial numbers. You may spend a lot more time getting from point A to point B, and that's a waste of energy and resources. In a relationship, if you're not clear on what you're trying to accomplish or what you're looking for, then you can spend a lot of time going down the wrong path, or you can waste time arguing and having difficulties and differences, and it can lead to a lot of disharmony that's unnecessary. In fact, there's a colloquialism which is this: we cleared it up. And you hear that a lot, or somebody says, what happened with this situation? You go, oh, well, we cleared it up. And what that means is previously there was disagreement or confusion or misunderstandings about the key elements, or something that somebody said, or something that somebody wanted, or what somebody did or didn't do, and then it got resolved. And then when it got resolved, we said it's all cleared up. So clarity is really king, and once you are clear on what you're trying to accomplish, then the plan for how to get there becomes a lot more apparent. So I'd like to share 4 key ideas with you about clarity. The first one is who. I'm using real simple terms today. I think simple terms are very sticky. So the first simple term today that relates to clarity is who. Who are you intending to become? Yeah, I'm starting at kind of a 30,000 foot level. Who are you intending to become as a person? Think purpose, think mission, think legacy. Think the end of your life, and you have accomplished and become everything that you intended to be and intended to do. That's your legacy. You're leaving something behind. Right now, I've got a legacy. If something happened to me today, I'd leave a legacy, good or bad or somewhere in the middle. I'd leave a legacy. If something happened to you today, tomorrow, you're going to leave a legacy. That's not the important question, though. What we want to do is, are we leaving the kind of legacy that we want to leave? Are we leaving the best possible legacy? Is our legacy something that we're going to be proud of? Is it meaningful? Is it going to last forever? And legacy is a very important term. So to help my clients get clear on their legacy, I have them draft a personal mission statement. And a personal mission statement is a great tool. It's a tool, it's a document, it should be a document that clarifies the best possible outcome for the rest of your life. It really clarifies your full potential, and get this, clarifies your full potential in writing from God's perspective. I like putting that little twist on there. A personal mission statement is a document that you put together. I want you to write it in the present tense, and it can be a narrative or it can be a series of sentences, but it's a written articulation of your full potential from God's perspective, written in the present tense, so that every time that you review it and reread it, you get a greater sense that it's happening, that it's in process. You get the feeling of this mission already being accomplished, and that's very, very important. So before you get into goal setting, I want you to clarify, who do you want to become as a person over the rest of your life? What is the meaning of your life? What difference are you trying to make? So terms that people use that are related are purpose, okay, mission, vision, and they're all kind of interrelated. Your purpose is, what are you here to do and to accomplish in the long run? Vision is a little bit different, but it's a great term also. It kind of refers to once you've hit your purpose or your goal, what would you see in your life and your surroundings that aren't there now? What would be different? And that's the vision that you would see in your life. So before you get into the goal setting, I want you to get clear on the who. All right, so now let's talk about the goal setting. Goal setting is the second fancy word, and I call it what. What? So we've got who, which is legacy, mission, purpose, and now what? What are the goals? So what are your goals? Are you clear on the goals that you are pursuing right now? What are the goals that you're intending to accomplish in the next year, in the next decade, the next 3 years? What are your goals for this week? These are all great questions relative to a time frame. My favorite time frame has been for some time 3-year goals. I love 3-year goals. 3-year goals are further enough into the future that you can accomplish big things. For example, you can get from a bad financial position to a really good financial position. You can go from being in debt to having financial margin. On the relationship side, you can go from having a rocky relationship to a wonderful relationship. On fitness and health, you can go from being overweight and sloppy with your health habits to having a great physique, lots of energy, and being super healthy. You can do that in 3 years. You can do it maybe in less, but 3 years is a transformative period. So I want to encourage you to consider establishing 3-year goals. Goals that have a deadline of no later than 3 years from now. That's what I mean with 3-year goals. These are the biggest and best things that you can accomplish over the next 36 months. So 3 years, 36 months, what else would that be? 12 quarters, 1,095 days. That's kind of how you break it down. And whenever I'm working on my own goals or I'm working with clients on their goals, we really want to break it down into the different pieces. So 3 years is time, plenty of time to do cool stuff, big stuff, life-changing stuff. But you can see the end from the start line. And that's extra motivating. And then you can break it down into really valuable accountability periods every 90 days. So there's 12 accountability periods in every 3-year window, and that would just be every quarter. Then you can take that quarter, break it into 13 chunks, which would be your weekly accountability period. And it's just a great way to measure your life. So I want you to set goals. I encourage you to set goals, in your faith. I want you to set goals in your health and fitness as a husband or wife, mom or dad. I want you to set big economic goals. I want you to have adventure goals. I want you to have goals to make a difference in the community. I want you to have goals that push you physically. I want you to have goals that are learning and growth goals. Then here's a new category that I've been promoting recently is goals that you can accomplish in one day. Kind of a side helping of goals, if you will, but it's a way of thinking about individual goals that are kind of fun or they have some kind of meaning to them, or maybe it's a learning goal, maybe it's an adventure, but things that you can conceive of, plan, and then go knock out in one day can be a lot of fun and very, very helpful. So here's the connection between the who and the what. We talked about the who being the legacy, purpose, mission, and then the what being the goals. So every time that you're pursuing a goal, in addition to accomplishing that goal, that's obviously what we want. We want to accomplish the goal, but as we're accomplishing the goal, we want the pursuit of the goal, how you've had to grow and maneuver and strategize to get to the goal. We want all of that to contribute to who you are becoming as a person. And if and when, hopefully it's when you accomplish those goals, the very accomplishment of those goals will move you closer to the person that will fulfill the legacy that you have defined for yourself. But if you've done it right, this is some really good news. If you've set your goals right, then just the very pursuit of the goals, the direction that you're heading, the growth that you undertake, just the very pursuit of those goals will force you, will cause you, will nudge you to become more like the person that you've described in your personal mission statement, more like the person that you're trying to become and trying to live up to as part of your legacy, your intentional legacy. And that's very, very important. Here's kind of the warning side of that. If you have set the wrong goals, and by wrong goals, I mean goals that maybe are not right for you because they're not consistent with your strengths, they're not a good fit for what you're all about as a person, or maybe they're expedient goals, or maybe your motivations are suspect. So if you pursue the wrong goals, even if you don't hit them, that's the catch. Even if you don't hit them, pursuing the wrong goals can get you off track in life, and you want to watch out for that. So we've got the who, we've got the what, and now we need to talk about the why, because the why, that's the third fancy word that I'm using today. The why is the driving force. It's the motivator. In fact, if you look at the word motivation, it's really two words combined together. It's motive plus action, motivation, So that's reasons for acting. And the more reasons you have, the more motivated you're going to be. The more compelling those reasons are, the more motivated you're going to be. So I like to push my clients to have lots of reasons, and to have those reasons be very compelling, very connected to what that individual is about, relative to their purpose, relative to the legacy that they want to leave behind. So one way to do this is to make sure that with all of your major goals, and you should have at least 5, let's say, let me roll through the ones that I recommend again. So you'd have a faith goal, spiritual goal, and you'd have a husband or wife goal, you'd have a mom or dad goal if those things apply, you'd have a fitness and health goal, and then you'd have your bottom line financial or economic or business goal that you have. And so once you are setting one of those top 5 goals, I want you to identify all the reasons you must reach those goals, either one of those goals. And I would shoot for at least 10 or 12 reasons. You can lay it out in complete sentences why reaching that goal is critical to you. And if you can't come up with 10 or 12 reasons, then that's good information to have. Maybe that goal's not right for you, or maybe there's only 2 or 3 reasons, but they're really powerful. That's okay too. But in general, the more reasons you have, the better. So if there's 2 people who are equally gifted, equally ambitious, and one person has 4 or 5 reasons for reaching a goal, the other person has 9 or 10, I'm going to put my money on the person who has 9 or 10 reasons why they absolutely must reach that goal. Now, let's say they both had 9 or 10 reasons. Who's going to be more motivated? Who's going to be able to sustain more motivation? That's going to be the one who reviews those reasons. That's a good thing to jot down. Review your reasons. Review your reasons. You want to look at and remind yourself of why it's essential, why you must reach your goals. That's the driving force. That's like fuel. And you might think to yourself, well, obviously I need to reach this goal. I really want to accomplish this goal. Otherwise I wouldn't have said it. And that's true. But there's so many thoughts coming at us. There's so many distractions. There's so many interruptions to our thought process that it's very, very important to remind yourself of what you already know. It sounds kind of funny to say it, but you need to remind yourself of your reasons. Otherwise, your reasons can get buried in the distractions and the daily, onslaught of trivia that comes at us from all over the place. So the more you remind yourself of what you're after and why you're going for it, the more sensitive you're going to be to the things you do all day long, the choices that you make that are moving you either toward your goal or away from your goal. And one thing I want you to pay attention to is what I call micro choices. So all day long, pretty much every hour, if not every minute, we're making little choices. We're thinking certain things, saying certain things, doing or not doing certain things. We're following certain habit patterns. We're wasting time or investing our time wisely. We're making all these little micro choices all day long. And at the end of the day, we've either moved closer to our goals or we've moved further away. But a lot of people, I don't want this to happen to you, a lot of people are oblivious to these micro choices. I want you to be aware of them. And so by getting up in the morning and reviewing your goals, amongst other things, reviewing your goals and then reviewing the reasons why it's imperative that you hit those goals is going to put you in a different level of awareness than the person who has the same goals but doesn't review them very often. So let's recap real quickly. We've got who, we've got what, why, and then the final very complex word is how. How are we going to get from where we are now to where we'd really rather be? And this brings us like full loop right back to clarification. If we don't know exactly, I'm talking about precisely what we're trying to accomplish, then it's harder for us to come up with a plan of action steps that will take us there. But once we're clear, and you can't be too clear, the more clear the better, then what happens is we start noticing opportunities, resources, people that can help us reach our goal. So the more you review your goal, the more you meditate upon it, the more awareness you're going to have as to the resources and the assets in your environment that can help you get from where you are to where you'd really rather be. So that is key. What is a plan? A plan is just so simple. You don't need a sophisticated plan necessarily. You just need a series of action steps that will move you toward the direction that you want to go, which is toward your goals. And then I like to then sequence those action steps in the proper order. And then oftentimes I will make a list on the side of all the things that I could do that would move me in the opposite direction. And I don't want you to dwell on the list of things that will move you in the opposite direction, but it's important to know what might move me away from my goal that I might have a tendency to do, and I shouldn't. But by highlighting it, by actually admitting it, confessing it, writing it down, that makes you so sensitive that you're aware of those failure paths, you're aware of those poor habits, those tendencies that are counterproductive, you're aware of them and you avoid them. So if we start back from the top, we're talking about, and we've been talking about clarity. This is where most people run into trouble. They want better results, but they're not clear on what they're trying to accomplish. A lot of people have a tendency to be more clear on what they don't want than what they do want. Don't let that happen to you. We gave you 4 simple concepts, 4 simple words: who, what, why, and how. And remember, you can't change your destination immediately. You can't just snap your fingers, change your destination. What you can do is you can change your direction immediately. You can change your direction, 5 minutes from now, 1 minute from now, you can change your direction relative to your financial goals, a marriage goal, a health goal, in just a moment or two of new micro choices that are goal directed. It will start to steer you toward that new destination. And that's so important because I want you to be successful. I want you to reach your full potential. I want you to achieve optimal because your success blesses others.